Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Come on in, sit on down. It's time for another episode of the Truther Therapy Sessions, episode 107. And I've got something special for you guys today, something a little bit different. I have a guest who has actually been on the show before. He did call in maybe about a month or two ago now. I believe he's from Switzerland, and he was sharing with me a lot of information about the traditions they have over there in regards to Fastnacht, festivals, and the clown and jester costume and its prevalence, and all sorts of crazy things that just go on in that odd, strange little place right in the centre of Europe. And we had a great conversation. People really liked it, and I enjoyed talking with him. He was a wealth of knowledge. And off the back of one of my more recent podcasts, I was waxing lyrical about the issues of health, you know, as people tend to do when they get given a minute and the time to do so. And he sent me an email explaining how he's actually come across a few things himself in his own literal scientific research and studies, and he's observed a few things which I think is worth sharing with a larger audience, and it fascinated me when he was telling me about it. So he's actually agreed gracefully to come on today and share a presentation he's put together after much prayer and contemplation and getting permission from his wife. I think he's come on and he's allowed to do this. So he's going to join us and he's going to share with us his work and findings on food and water, and it basically is everything poison. So Thomas, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I can. Hi.
Good stuff. Thanks again for doing this. Like I say, it was a bit of a last minute whip together, wasn't it? You kind of only suggested this maybe what, a week ago or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I asked you, like, do you want to come on and just share this with people? And you're like, I'm gonna have to think about this. Just give me a minute. And the next day you were like, I'll do it. I'm in.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. It was that type of thing. I thought that was quite fun. But yeah, so thanks again for doing this. And without too much dilly-dallying on this, I'll just share the screen, and your presentation is now what that you are prepared for people to talk about. So I'll give the stage to you, Thomas, and then we can kind of just roll with it from there.
Awesome. Sounds good. So I wait for you to share the screen.
It's all good. Are you ready to go? Everyone can see everything you're sharing.
Okay. So because I can't see it on the video yet, but there's probably a delay.
There is a 10-second delay to what you'll see on the video. So you're best off just turning that off, to be honest, or just leaving the chat up instead, or something, popping out the chat. And then you just do your presentation on our side, and they'll see everything. So don't worry about that.
Okay, so there we go. So is everything poison? During the last 5 years, I've done some research. I am somewhat of an independent researcher, and I'm using equipment I use during my day job. And just as a quick disclaimer, there's a lot of potential ban bait in this presentation. I will use some odd terms to avoid online censorship. Everything I'm about to tell you, look it up yourself, verify, think, be skeptic, but do not expect a .gov website on the first Google page to tell you everything, because that's not how it works. And if you aren't Christian, I am a Christian, some of these things will sound strange to you. But I encourage you to give it a listen anyways. And very important, this is not medical advice. Also, the topics are somewhat scary, but do not fear, as always. I will also provide some solutions and strategies I think that can work, and they have worked for me and my friends, my family. And don't be gaslit. Like I said, there's some stuff I will show, some pictures that can upset you. Some stuff will be gross because we're talking about biology, but there's solutions to everything. Do not fear. I will first talk about the state of our water supply worldwide, and the state of our food supply, and then the dangers of dietary supplements. This is a big one. Then I will talk about PFAS and other forever chemicals and what I think is actually going on, because the mainstream media is talking about it quite a bit. Then, like I said, solutions, and then very important for us as a Christian community, I think, is why food matters for Christians. And then, if there's still time left, I can take questions from the audience. All right. So I will wait until the first screen will appear for the audience. The state of our water supply. So there's a lot of rumors going on, and I think every one of us has seen some videos where they show some microscopic images on BitChute of stuff that rains from the sky.
Hmm.
People have shown crazy things in water, and I was like thinking for the last few years, you know what? I have the lab equipment myself. I will just look into it myself. And the first slide I'm waiting to pop up here for the chat is, yeah, this one. This was taken in early 2020. That's when I started my research. This is Swiss tap water, which was or still is hailed to be the best water in the world, and it's actually clean. And at early 2020, you can see a little calcium crystal here in the middle, and there's no odor of this water. There were no foreign objects visible, and pets had no aversion against it. The next slide that's coming up is
Oh, just to
three.
just let you know, Thomas, you don't have to wait for anything.
Oh, okay.
What they hear is live as though
Oh,
it's
oh,
live, so you don't
right,
have to
right.
do any lag or anything. It's just there's a slight lag, so there's no buffering on my
Oh,
software. But what they hear is live as you're saying it, so you don't have to worry about any of that. You just talk about what's on the screen, okay?
okay. So yeah, this slide is where it gets serious. This is a few pictures of several big brand bottled water companies. I will not disclose the names simply because they might come after you.
Hmm.
But these brands are available all around in the world. And the left picture shows what my colleagues and I identified as a carbon fiber nanotube with unknown metals in it. The black ring on around it is just from the microscope, from the apparatus. But this little wedge-like thingy that is most likely carbon. I'm not gonna say it. It's an oxide. We have all heard it. The middle, again, this is high-end water you can buy in the supermarket. It's an amoeba, I think. I'm not sure what it's called in English. And it's a microorganism that can be very harmful. It was alive when I looked at it. It was actually moving around. And the density of these objects was extremely high. Like
Hmm.
I counted in 1 milliliter of water over 100 of these entities. And the
Hmm.
right picture again, another sample shows again artificial carbon nanostructure, and that shouldn't be there. Again, if I go back to what water should look like, that is just tap water, and that is bottled water. This doesn't look very good. The next one was even crazier. The structure on the left, I have no idea what it is. You can also see out of focus some, yeah, dust-like particles. I have no idea what it is. I talked to biologists and doctors. Nobody had an idea, but everyone agreed it shouldn't be in there. If you buy water at high prices these days, there should not be anything in there. And this is at 1000 magnification. The middle one is very strange as well. This appears to be some sort of cell of something. It's dead,
Hmm.
whatever it was. Again, shouldn't be in there. This was sparkling water, so you can see some bubbles. That's okay. But the three bigger things in the middle shouldn't be there. On the right, this was tap water, but 2 years later from Switzerland. So this was from 2020. So now there is some stuff in there, and it was taken from the same faucet, the same spring, and whatever this is, it was starting to pop up more and more. And now the left picture you may have seen online, as we all know, in 2021 to 2022, they put things in people's bodies. And this picture I took, this picture has been circulated that it allegedly is in those things that they put into people's bodies. But it's actually, again, a picture of water, of commercially available bottled water. And I
Hmm.
took this picture. And this is, I'm gonna say Grafene.
Yeah.
You know what it is, okay?
We know
So
what you're talking about. Don't worry
we
about it.
know it's somewhere else as well. We know it has been in those things, but it's also in the water now. So this is very concerning. In the middle, again, another sample. This was actually a fairly recent sample. Well, it's again 1.5 years ago. Time flies, but Again, some sparkling water, but some larger particles I cannot identify. And a very scary one was the one on the right. In the middle, we see a bubble that is okay, but a little object on the left that is latching onto it, and it was full of these objects. And these objects would always seek out bubbles and kind of merge with them.
Mm.
So I had no idea what to make of this. I looked through modern medicine books, through basically every resource, and I had no chance to identify these things. So I looked into all the literature and I found a book, The Handbook of Medical Entomology, by a certain William A. Riley. And you can find this book online. It's pretty long, but you will find some very interesting pictures in there. If you ask Google, this picture I'm displaying you here is showing the life cycle of the malaria parasite, but that's not correct. We know that the malaria parasite doesn't look like this, but they found this parasite in this book and documented it in great detail. And I think there is a lot of truth in literature that has been published before or until the First World War. And Object 9b is something we will talk about quite a bit today because that object I have found or I encountered it many times during my research. So what I can so far is, if you look at these pictures again, bottled water looks like this, and formally clean water should look like this. So it's not good. Now, I also found this. I'm not sure if I should pronounce, but you can read it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
This was in the things they wanted us to wear in 2020. I looked a lot. I looked at a lot of masks, and about 20% were affected. And you can see on the right two pictures of ordinary nylon fiber. That's what they should look like.
Mm.
In the middle, there's straight fibers, and on the right is a mesh, which is typically used in FFP2, masks. And whenever I would apply warm water to these masks, the red moving structures on the left would come out of these masks. You could see them barely by eye. They all seemed to move as the more the warmer it got, and they had this claw-like feature. Again, the closest I was able to find in literature was the hookworm. But again, they look very, very different. I have no idea what this is. I found
Mm.
about 10 to 30 of these per mask. So yeah, you can also find them sometimes randomly. As I said, I am working in science, and before 2020, we could have samples in the open in the office, and they wouldn't get tainted with dust. Starting 2020 and in 2021, it got especially bad. Since ever since this year, we cannot have samples in the open because they will get dust on it immediately. We know that the air now is so polluted with dust that we have to change our internal protocols. And
Mm.
sometimes these red things will appear.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance with the people I showed this, and I was like, "You see this?" And they were like, "Yeah." And it's like, "What do you think of it?" I don't know. It's probably dust. Well,
Mm.
whatever. Yeah, people they don't want to accept it. So that was the water and a little intermission regarding our cloth and fibers that we use daily. The state of our food supply doesn't look much better. First, let me start with some stuff that everyone can look up. I've linked some sources. Here in Europe, there's a food edition product that's called E155. It's called Brown HT, and it's made from coal tar and petrol products. And if you like brownies, you will eat this. Basically,
Mm.
every supermarket food that is brown or dark contains this, and it will contain aluminum. Official sources state sometimes, but the aluminum content can be really bad. It causes skin rashes, asthma, and may intensify hyperactivity in children. And you can look this up. There's even for a change .gov from the NCBI website that tells you about this. The first link is in German, but you can use a translator. And then we have E407 or E407A, also called carrageenan. It's very widely used Emulsifier, probably if you have looked at food packaging, emulsifier, you find it on almost every processed food. It's been proven to alter gut bacteria, cause diabetes and cancer. And it's under suspicion for causing alpha-gal syndrome. This is something that's been going around. It's a condition that causes you to not being able to digest red meat forever, for the rest of your life. It's pretty serious stuff. And I mention all of these because I will tie it up or bring it back together later. Then we have another one, Tenebrium molitor larvae. This is literal bugs in your food. If you live in the EU since 2021, they can put it in there. These are worms. Tenebrium molitor is a little, very disgusting worm, and it's known to carry pathogens such as tapeworms. The EU states, people confronted the EU with that, and they said, yeah, we eliminate the risk of parasites mostly. The source literally said mostly. So not completely, not sufficiently, mostly, whatever that means. And it's officially unclear whether these things are safe. They say only 4% or 10% in there, but 4% of dry powder of these worms is a lot by weight percent. And they don't even specify if it's weight percent or volume percent. In any case, it's bad. If you eat vegan or vegetarian and use meat alternatives, you eat this, whether you know it or not, because they have to, tell you that they put it in there, but they sometimes put it in other additives, and then they only have to clarify which the final additive is. So it's very nefarious. It's very sinister. Then we have one that has been making the rounds on Instagram lately, and rightfully so. That's called Appeal. It's coding funded by Mr. Bill Gates himself, and he's quite open about this. And of course, the intention is a good one. It should prolong shelf life. However, only 3% of the formula are public. That should raise alarms.
Oh.
It has already been linked to cancer, and even the oral delivery of, I'm not going to read that, but you can see it on the screen. Because of reasons, I invite you to research this yourself, but this is a very serious one, and they are approving it for organic food even, and have in some places already. So this is very, very serious. In the US, there is, I think, quite a few organic food products where it is already allowed. So be careful. But I will talk about how to protect yourself. There's solutions. So no fear. I know it looks bad. It's going to look worse and worse, but no fear. Bover. They have been rolling out this stuff massively in the UK. It's an additive for cows that they put in their food. And it's developed by a company called DSM Firmenich in German. And I will talk about this company a lot later. And they are connected to a substance called HAK293. Maybe you have heard about this. This is very, very dark. It's claimed to reduce methane emissions from cattle by suppressing the enzyme in their stomachs, and it leaks into the milk. And this is especially concerning when it comes to milk powder and baby food. So if you have children, it can be very dangerous. It's basically allowed everywhere. And the effects it could have are terrifying, but again, for reasons I cannot talk about it here. But please do yourself a favor, look it up on Brave and BitChute. Before we go on, just a few very important ones, but I cannot possibly cover all of them. Citric acid. It's made from black mold fungus called Aspergillus niger or Aspergillus niger. The patent has been filed already about, I think, 8 years ago by none other than that company on the screen. There's no control over how much Aspergillus niger remains in the final citric acid. Citric acid does not come from lemons, people. If you read citric acid, it does come from Aspergillus niger. If they write lemon acid or lemon juice, then it's okay. Aspergillus niger is black mold, and it's insanely toxic to humans. Anyone who ever had a black mold infection in their home will tell you that. Side note, if I consume foods or beverages with citric acid, I get depressed for 48 hours. And it took me years to figure that one out. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Processed food means you eat that stuff. Fluoride, I think many know. Toothpaste contains it, highly toxic, sometimes even in table salt. Calcifies the pineal gland, messes with your sleep, perception of abstract concepts even. Now, the esoteric crowd talks about this a lot and gives it a bad reputation, but well, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Fluoride is really dangerous. Glyphosate, this is not a food additive, but I decided to mention it because it's so widely used and impactful. It seeps into your food, and even mainstream sources will tell you how bad it is. It's an insecticide, and it's very, very bad, but you can neutralize it. Getting ahead of myself, if you wash your vegetables and fruits in sodium bicarbonate, this is baking soda, and immerse it there for 15 to 20 minutes, you will get rid of a lot of it. Of course, not that, yeah, about 90%, but some, of course, remains, but 90% less is quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Microbial rennet. Rennet is what makes cheese cheese. And they have, of course, found a better climate-friendly alternatives. It's microbial rennet. And this is, again, a pretty large rabbit hole. We do not know if and how many microbes carry over into your cheese. If you buy cheese and it says microbial rennet, do not buy it. Do not buy it.
Mm.
MSG is monosodium glutamate. Again, mainstream sources, you will find it quite easily, reported to cause depression and permanently change taste buds if it's consumed from an early age. If you feed children monosodium glutamate, and I have been a big victim of this, you get addicted and your taste bud physically change.
Mm.
This is pretty crazy. Avoid it. And last but not least, dry yeast and yeast extract may cause candida infection, which can be especially crippling for women because this can chronically infect the primary reproductive organs of women. Again, there's more and more research coming about this in mainstream sources, and yeah, avoid it as well. Now let's get into dangers of dietary supplements, and I think this will hit close to home of many people watching. I'm talking about stuff like ashwagandha, some products like what's it called, cordyceps fungus, basically anything they sell you on Instagram, some health gurus. Yeah, ashwagandha is a big one. Causes anxiety, has caused anxiety for me, can cause crazy dreams. Basically, any pill they push as a dietary supplement. Usually, there's a guy in a muscle shirt talking about this, how awesome this is, or some chick with some sort of dream catcher in the background will tell you, oh, you need to take this supplement, or you need to take vitamin D, especially vitamin D. Vitamin D is a very nefarious one. Lots of vitamin D products contain D-luciferase. D-luciferase from Lucifer, Lightbringer. And luciferase has basically no reason to be in there. But 80% of vitamin D products are test positive on D-luciferase. And again, you can look this up. And it's causing cancer. And the name itself should raise alarms. We have very, very little to zero info where these dietary supplements are produced. At best, you will find the label produced for, and then insert your health guru company here. Again, I'm not putting names here because these people are very litigious. They may come after you. If you read the patents of particular brands, you will even find that it describes nanotechnology. Nanotechnology will penetrate your cells. I will talk about this later and show also a picture. And again, they reveal only a fraction of both methods and ingredients. Yet a lot of truthers, if you want to call ourselves that, take these things. I have been too, and I got very, very sick, and I got demonic dreams. That was very bad. Mostly after taking cordyceps and ashwagandha, which is over the counter and is said to release anxiety and stop it, it made it 10 times worse.
Mm.
And yeah, many people will say that this is what you need. We don't get enough vitamins and stuff, but these people are not your friends. If you look into these people, dig through their LinkedIn's, this is a good one to. I realized LinkedIn reveals a lot about those people because they brag about this and they will brag in which clubs they are. So yeah, very very strange stuff. And that aside, lots of these dietary supplements are made in Asia with very questionable labels of hygiene. On the floor, you will find pictures of these pills dumped on the floor and the guy sitting barefoot inside the heaps of these pills and cramming them in a box. It's horrible. And most of these
Mm.
products don't even work. And if they have something in them that does work, they are too low in dosage. And if it works, it really is dangerous, like I said. And yeah, you can often end up in a cult if you listen to these people too much. I mean, yeah, a lot of Gnostic stuff going on with that.
Hmm.
Now, the dangers of PFAS and other forever chemicals. Now, just very quickly, it's a large group of synthetic chemicals, and you will find it everywhere. I don't want to go too much over it. It always contains fluorine, which is an atom that is known from being present in fluoride. Fluoride is basically fluorine plus a salt, which I don't know what it's called in English. So they are definitely bad, but I want to get at something else. Now it's getting interesting. This is from the NHS government website. Even they tell you it's very bad, and they talk about it too much. Why do they want to talk about this so much? What I think is going on is based on the pictures I showed you above of the water. Something is accumulating in our water, and that's the actual danger. Parasites, microorganisms, and they are all accompanied by silicon and carbon-based nanomaterials that are aerosolized. And to avoid you
Hmm.
getting into trouble, our skies tell the truth. You told us, your wife said once, if they want to poison everyone, they would just poison the water supply. But you can't send a guy to every water well in every city worldwide. Even if you did, if they get caught, they would catch on. People would catch on. But if you find a way to get into the sky, it will spread everywhere and perfect plausible deniability. And
Hmm.
like I said, since 2020, I find that that the lab equipment I use, everything, if it's not in a room with HEPA filters, if it's not in a clean room, it gets covered in strange dust. And I cannot show these pictures because it would put some people in danger. But if you put these under an electron microscope, you will see that they are containing silicon. And maybe you remember some people that work with deceased people. If they cut them open, they find silicon-based microstructures in their veins.
Hmm.
Something is assembling microstructures made from mainly silicon and interestingly enough also selenium in the veins of people. Again, I could show pictures. Go to BitChute and look up what embalmers find in people. Then you will see what I talk about. But I cannot show this here. It could strike you. That being said,
Hmm.
PFAS is of course very dangerous. And I think they use this PFAS story to divert attention from this. Now, seed oils. Before we get into the solution part, seed oils, I think many people have caught on. They were originally developed as engine oil, and the efforts intensified during World War II in mainly Canada. And when the war ended, they were labeled as food safe because there was an oversupply. And sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but all seed oils are bad. They cause inflammation, tissue pain, joint pain, lower testosterone, and even are suspected to cause dementia. Dementia is on the rise since 1970. Alzheimer's, if you look up the statistics, you will find that ever since we started consuming this stuff, our elderly people are doing much worse.
Hmm.
It's present in nearly all processed foods, chicken nuggets, ham, meatloaves, bread. It's very hard to avoid. And for this one, Google will provide much info on their dangers because awareness is, thank God, rising. And like I said before, it significantly lowers testosterone levels in men.
Hmm.
Soybean products are even worse. Avoid at all costs. They are riddled with pesticides too. And again, they come from mainly Asian countries and they may contain chemicals that are very, very dangerous. Again, I have the links for sources down there. It's so dangerous. Again, if you maybe want to share this presentation in your Telegram later, people can look up the links themselves.
Hmm.
Now, sugar, now we're getting into the weeds, is the main source of food for parasites, and they put it into everything, copious amounts. There's so much sugar in Coke, for example, that they have to put phosphoric acid into Coke in order to make it sour enough that we can actually digest it. Maybe you have seen videos where they show you how much sugar is in Coke.
Hmm.
It's like a third of the bottle. If you drank that without the phosphoric acid in it, you would vomit. Your body would instantly reject it. It makes you fat, lethargic. Now, I have seen channels getting striked because you talk very negative about sugar, but you told me that's not the case anymore. The alternative is raw honey, but I get again ahead of myself. Now let's get into the part I was looking for, working solutions and reports from friends and family. Let's start with the water. If you only do one thing, please filter your water. And the only way to get rid of, let me just quickly go back. The only way to get rid of these things, especially the nanoparticles, is a reverse osmosis filter. And a reverse osmosis filter only allows water molecules to pass. And just to get you an idea, a nanoparticle is 0.0001 millimeters or less, typically less. The most advanced non-osmosis filters, Life Straw, Sawyer, Katadyn, they are 0.005. They are 10 times too large. I see, unfortunately, many people think they are safe using a normal water filter. They are not safe. So if you use an osmosis filter, you filter out anything but water. This requires you to remineralize the water. And this is the most important slide of the entire presentation. Please seriously consider getting a water filter. It doesn't matter if you buy bottled water. It doesn't matter if you drink tap water. Based on my results, nothing works. If you think boiling will work, that doesn't affect nanoparticles. Nothing will get rid of this stuff except reverse osmosis. Yes, boiling will kill microorganisms, but some of these microorganisms seem to be silicon based. And I know that sounds crazy, but this is what we found, and they will not die. And even if they do die, you still have the PFAS, you still have the chemicals, you still have the glyphosate, and this messes with your hormone levels. So there are three options I found that all work. For 50 to 80 US dollar, you can get a fish tank reverse osmosis filter. The pros are cheap and effective. Cons is complicated to set up, needs long initial flushing. Then you have the same thing relabeled for human use. And because they relabel it, they slap $300 on it. However, they will be prepared for daily use. You can put it directly on your faucet. And on the right, this is what I was able, after lots of saving with my wife, to afford. This is the easiest and most reliable filter. It shows you the parts per million of stuff that goes in and goes out. It's a use and forget desktop model, but it's very expensive. Now, you should mineralize. This is boring, but maybe you can use this. 2 grains of Celtic sea salt to 1 liter of water, and you will be set. And you have to use this water for everything, including cooking. If you get a fish tank filter, you can find good information online or in fish keeping forums. And there we go. Never use unfiltered water. And my wife and I, we prepare each evening bottles of water for the next day. It takes 30 to 60 minutes. It has become a ritual for us. You can watch videos doing it, pray, do other stuff, maybe get the family involved, the kids. This used to be the norm. Getting water was part of our daily lives for thousands of years, but we are not used to it anymore. And make sure you keep the maintenance intervals. Now, this is directed to you because just like you, I got sick a lot. Like 3 to 4 times a year, I got sick with flu-like symptoms, sinus infections. I could count the days, like at least 3 to 4 times a year, and I would get really sick. This immediately stopped when we were getting a reverse osmosis water filter. Immediately. I have not been sick ever since. And it also fixed my acne. We both suffered from that. I've been to doctors and nobody could help me. Ever since we use a reverse osmosis filter, no more acne. It rekindled my wife's my passion for the pleasures of marriage. That has been something that spiked in both of us. It will actually allow you to parasite cleanse, more on that later, and no more gum problems for my wife. She had gum bleeding and I had very sensitive teeth that would hurt when brushing them. And very interestingly, our cat stopped drinking from puddles and flower pots. He would not like to drink from his water bowl. Ever since we give him this water, the osmosis filtered water, he drinks it. It's very interesting. Again, never consume unfiltered water if you want this to work. You have to cook with it, brush your teeth, make your coffee, make your tea. Again, look at the pictures I shared initially. These are my pictures. This is not from some online, well, I am some online guide to you, of course, but I didn't believe the reports of people talking on BitChute until I looked at it myself. And I was like, okay, I need to change this. I cannot drink this water anymore. And yeah, we have not been sick ever since. Everyone around us is sick, constantly getting flu-like symptoms, sinus infections, coughing. We are still trucking. Now, of course, if you decide to only drink filtered water, you will run into problems, co-workers and family. And if you have problems with coworkers and family, watching Paul's through the therapy sessions will help how to deal with people. I think this is actually one of the biggest hurdles I found in when getting people to do this. They will say, "Oh, what my parents, my wife, my coworkers, and I'm traveling a lot. I cannot make this work." You can, but you have to plan in advance. Water has become a commodity that is so easily available that it's hard to switch. And if you are on a budget, my wife and I can relate, it's maybe not that easy to free the money for such a filter. However, praying, again, Jesus is the answer. We couldn't afford a proper filter. We prayed, and I'm self-employed. Half an hour later, I made a sale and I was able to buy this big filter. So yeah, one of the many, many things that happen daily. And while I'm talking here, I see that it played the McDonald's ads on the live stream. Yeah, that's fitting. So yeah, food, that's a good topic. But before we switch to food again, please remineralize. You will find many people pushing osmosis filters that do not talk about remineralizing. Use Celtic sea salt. Do not use the remineralizing tablets. You don't know what's in them. You just don't know. Celtic sea salt, so far, based on my investigations, is clean. It contains over 80 beneficial minerals and trace elements. It's very cheap. All of these things, except the filter itself, maybe is not cheap. If a health solution is expensive, that should raise a red flag immediately. I think God has created this world that we can be healthy at low cost. That's my firm belief. Now, food. I don't read all of that, don't worry, but you can read it if you really want to get into it. Many people will recommend the carnivore approach. I think you have heard it yourself. Oh, bro, just go carnivore.
All the time, yeah, all the
All the
time.
time. Yeah, bro, go carnivore. I did, and based on my research, it depends on your blood group. I'm blood group 0. For me, it worked great. I did it for 6 months, and indeed, it fixed 10 years of gut issues. But it is expensive. I mean, no matter what a carnivore guy on Instagram tells you, it is expensive. And it's not practical, I think, for most people. And I know a guy, I'm not sure if it's A or B, but he ended up in the hospital after a few months. He only ate meat, I have to add. I would also eat eggs and milk. But yeah, do your research on this. What I would recommend, and this is what I did, this is not medical advice, just like you are not a licensed therapist, go for an animal heavy or animal based diet. And that means zero processed food, none. And reference my previous slides. It's hard. I do not share pictures of food because I do not have the equipment to differentiate the different fibers. It would not be very scientific to just put the chicken nuggets under the microscope and look, oh, there's some orgolon and stuff like that. Many people do that, but it's a very difficult technique. But we can assume if it's in all the water, it will be in the food too. And base ingredients are way cheaper to buy anyways. So yeah, organic potatoes are cheap compared to processed foods. And even if you can't buy organic, it's still better to buy just potatoes. And I will get into recipes my wife has prepared later. So that means zero sausages, meatloaf, nuggets, fast food. I know in Britain this is big, and I love this stuff, but it will mess with you.
Mhm.
And yeah, human DNA has been found in burger meat on various occasions, even here in Switzerland. That's true. They always,
Mhm.
oh, that has been debunked, bro, put off your tinfoil hat. But it keeps resurfacing. And then they will tell you stuff like, oh, this is just a human hair that fell into, the meat and that's the trace. But it's up to 2%. 2% of human DNA has been found on numerous occasions in beef and especially pork. Again, you can look this up yourself. Speaking of pork, don't eat it. It's very unhealthy. It's riddled with parasites, even here in Switzerland. I know, guys, bacon is tasty. I loved it, but it makes you addicted. Interestingly enough, the other thing that makes you addicted too, according to Navajo, Indian, or native people, is human meat. And pork matches the human DNA up to 98%. Some people even call it cannibalism if we eat pork. Again, I know especially the American audience will love their bacon. I get you. Okay. It took me a long time to get off that stuff. But next to not drinking the water unfiltered, stopping to eat pork made a huge difference for my health. And I lost 40 pounds within 3 months doing this, and it never came back. It just it's just gone. That's 20 kilos for the European audience. Eat red meat, organic meat if you can, eggs, potatoes, and fruit and veggies that are designed to be eaten, meaning that it's colored. Modern vegetables like broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, cabbage, and salads are foods that have been engineered less than 100 years ago. They are purposely bred to feed the masses. They are full of oxalates. That's the one bit the carnivores got right. And
Hmm.
oxalate causes oxidative stress in your body, especially if you have other problems with your tissue and have problems in your body. Avoid these, things that tell you it's healthy. Popeye was a psyop. Popeye was a huge psyop. Spinach actually removes iron from your body. It does. It removes iron from your body. It doesn't introduce it. Instead, eat the part of the plant wants you to eat. God has designed the plants, I would say, in a color code that even the most stupid person can recognize it. If
Hmm.
it's colorful, animals and humans should eat it. Of course, there are toxic ones. My wife and I, we eat a lot of tomatoes, peppers, pumpkin, stuff like that. Avoid grains. The modern grains are all tainted. They cause inflammation. It's, by the way, not the gluten. That's a psyop again. It's gliadines, and they are very long molecules that basically stick into your tissue and cause inflammation. The same for corn. All corn is engineered, and again, you can look this up, and owned by companies that are from that particular country in the Middle East that has been founded in 1948. And look up what the corn
Hmm.
plant originally looked like. It looked like wheat, actually. Nowadays, corn looks completely different. I should have included a picture here. Maybe we can get that up later. It's, yeah, don't eat corn. And non-organic chicken is also problematic because it contains lots of microplastics. However, one could make the case that microplastics is not the biggest concern because it's so long lasting, it doesn't interact that much with our body. Parasites are a much bigger problem. If you want to read more about this, there's a good book. It's called Soul in the Belly by Vitaly AT. He has a YouTube channel. It's called Alpha Talks. It's available as paperback, and it's a very good resource. Very good.
Hmm.
Have you heard of it, I guess?
I've got it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've interviewed Vitali on the channel as well when he
Yeah, yeah,
published the
yeah,
book.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great resource. Now, what are the benefits, you may ask? I told you all these things, what you can't eat. Well, my wife used to have all her life very bad menstrual pains, and I know many women are plagued by that. It's completely gone. That was even before she switched to filtered water. She used to be out of water for like 3 days, and I'm gonna talk facts here. Now, this is a very private topic, but my wife is actually next to me, so we can talk about this. She now can enjoy her life, and that's actually crazy. Like I knew once a month she would just be full of pain, couldn't move. That is gone, gone. And I lost all my severe debilitating allergies. I was diagnosed with life-threatening pollen allergy, and they told me, it's a genetic disease. You can't do anything. So yeah, live with it. Take these meds, which I didn't, and it's all gone since I changed my diet already, and since I
Mm.
changed my water, all gone. I did talk to my doctors and they got mad because they do this test with you where they poke your skin and check whether you react. No reaction. They wrote it off as a very strange coincidence, but whatever. And it also completely removed all my thoughts of anxiety I had since my teenage years. Prayer works now better for me because I don't doubt anymore. And if you look to James, the Epistle of James 6, verses 6 to 7, the unwavering mind will get the prayers answered. If I was always doubting myself, oh, will God really Does God even like me? All these things, these foods, and again, you can look this up, especially MSG and yeast extract, they mess with our thought patterns. And I can't understand how, but they do. It also completely fixed my gut problems. Like I said, I did 6 months of carnivore, but only 6 months. My voice got deeper, and it's getting deeper still. I think it sounds much higher on the microscope, but yeah, it's a microphone, but it's getting much deeper. I have experienced significant muscle gain and an increase in potency. Yeah, that's crazy, but that is the case. If you have to choose between clean eating and filtered water, start with the water. That has had a much bigger impact on my wife's and my life. Like I said, we started with the food first, but in combination, you will have the full benefits. Again, you can make it work. If you're reading this, you successfully resisted the probably most sophisticated propaganda campaign ever conducted from 2020 to 2022. So you are capable of doing this despite budget restrictions. I know how it is. I'm self-employed. I have a family. Um, it's easy to buy processed food and just put it on the table. But actually, if you buy potatoes and stuff and basic ingredients, it's not even more expensive. And
Mm.
yeah, I'm not sure about the biological mechanism behind the reason why, but these simple non-processed foods will satiate you much more. I find I eat about half the amount of food I used to. So in the end, you will save money. All these artificial additions in the food make you hungry. They make you crave. Never be satiated. Always greedy. And Jesus told us greed is the result of all evil. For me, it was chips and fries. That was and still is my big weakness. And I am happy that I'm now McDonald's and Burger King free since 2 years. But that was a really hard one to let go. Now, very important, only use butter or beef tallow for frying. Zero seed oils. Olive oil will decompose under high heat, so do not use it for frying. And also be aware, lots of olive oil is tainted with actually sometimes even mineral oil or seed oil. There's no reliable way they apply to make sure olive oil is pure. If you want to know if your olive oil is pure, put it in the fridge. If it gets cloudy, it's real. If it doesn't get cloudy, if it stays clear, it's seed oil or even mineral oil. That's how you can test if your olive oil is real. I
Mm.
tested over, I think, maybe the wife knows how many olive oils did we test? Yeah, we tested over 8 different brands, and only one was real, and that cost us over 30 euros. So olive oil, real olive oil, is expensive, and
Hmm.
yeah. Now, don't believe the dog lies again about the seed oils. It's not heart healthy. And also check out the spices section of your store. You will be amazed what you can make work. And this is actually food. This is a picture of the food my wife recently made. The arsomila. It sounds like you cannot eat anything, but this is cheap. This is just potatoes, tomatoes, onions, some thyme, and some chicken. We put it all on a sheet of metal. I don't know what it's called in English. The thing you put into a tray. Put it in the
Hmm.
oven. Leave it there for 30 minutes, maybe 40, depends on your oven. Pull it out, ready to eat for the entire family. And I'm not going to read all those recipes, but you can do it. It's not that hard. It sounds boring now, but we have been brainwashed into expecting every time we eat, it's an event. And I see this a lot in churches in the US where they have like these huge buffets with, like banqueting and all that stuff. And from an early age, we feed our children all these artificial foods and they make you addicted. It doesn't have to be that way. And if anyone tells you, oh, I cannot afford this or I don't have time, I thought the same thing. You can. Again, you are here. You have resisted all the propaganda, so you can do this too. Now, this one is a spicy one, parasite glands. A lot of people say they want to take Ivor. I'm not going to say it.
Hmm.
This is the safety data sheet they handed out in Switzerland if you decided to take the you know what, which of course I haven't. And This is cropped. I did not crop this. The only thing I did to this data sheet is the red scribbly marks because I don't want to get you striked. I'm still not sure how much of that is, good to show on YouTube.
Mm.
This parasite cleanser, this Ivor, I'm not going to say it, was officially in Switzerland in this thing they put into people from 2021 to 2022. Again, this looks like it was messed with. It is. You can see, I'm not sure if my cursor will show, site means page. It's cropped here. This one here looks like somebody used a phone and typed something here, used a phone editor. There's something completely missing. This, as it is here, was uploaded. It's like a PNG that was uploaded on the website where you could download the safety data sheet.
Mm.
Yeah, if I translate this text from German, the Ivor dot 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 is very toxic for fish and water organisms. Contact with the ground is not problematic, however. Most likely it will not leak into the groundwater. And it's highly flammable, and if you spill it, you need to immediately remove it.
Mm-hmm.
And the form is nanoform. Again, don't take this. It's used as horse dewormer. It's over the counter in America. I would not use it simply because it was in there. I know some people have been healed by it. I don't want to discourage anyone from saying, okay, I'm wrong, but I have a better solution. And there's a lot of stuff on social media where they tell you to eat papaya seeds or garlic and all that stuff. But the only thing that worked for me, and I will show some very gross pictures later, what came out of my body, is pure gum experience of turpentine, not the hardware turpentine. Please don't go out there and drink hardware store turpentine. Okay? If you do, that's on you. And everything on this slide is just for show and demonstration. Okay? All responsibilities to you. Again, I don't read out the entire protocol, but sugar and turpentine, that is what finalized my health journey. I was plagued with massive gut problems since my youth. The food and the water was the most important part. And if you are scared of the turpentine cleanse, I understand you. Took me a long while to do it. Again, this slide shows the ideal protocol that I did and still do. If you do it, now it's getting gross. There's stuff that, yeah, can come out. So these two large pictures in orange, that's the inside of my throat. And about 6 weeks in of the turpentine cleanse and clean eating, you can see it has a little face. White worms came out of the inside of my throat. These pictures were taken by my wife. It was incredibly painful. About a dozen of these critters came out. And ever since, I feel much better. I used to cough a lot when sleeping. I talked to a doctor about this, and the crazy and anesthesia. I think the guy that anesthesia, it's called, I think in English.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors that put you to sleep before surgery, and he told me, "Oh yeah, these things come out all the time of people's noses and throats. If you put them under anesthesia, the muscle in the throat gets relaxed." You will find reports of this online. And any nurse or anesthesia doctor will probably, maybe there are some in the chat, will tell you these things come out of people. That's normal. And they are oftentimes much bigger. Again, I found no information on this except one case from Japan where somebody ate sushi and about a month later they had such a worm in their throat and they made a study about it but said this is so incredibly rare. Again, it happens in hospitals all the time when they put people under narcotics. And I know this sounds a bit schizophrenic, and let's get back to this 9B figure. Here, this parasite, that was quite recently, that was 8 weeks ago, after I finalized my turpentine cleanse cycle. It was the size of my hand. This thing came out of, well, when I was done doing my business on the toilet. And when I tried to get a picture, I wanted to get my phone, it swam down into the toilet. You don't have to believe me on this, but again, go to BitChute. There is people that talk about this. And there was a huge Reddit thread about this in 2018. And I cannot tell you what changed for these people. Thank God I'm not one of them. But there were people on Reddit saying that their sexual preferences changed after doing this. All
Mm.
these videos have been taken down. Everything has been taken down. Parasites mess with us on a level that secular science cannot explain. Again, this thing was as big as my hand. I wanted to get a picture. And while I was reaching for my phone, it swam down the toilet and was gone. Believe me or not, I fully understand if you don't believe me, but that's how it was. And my wife, shortly after, because we did the entire family basically did the turpentine cleanse. A worm came out of her primary reproductive organ. It was
Mm.
incredibly painful for her. I pulled it out myself with tweezers. 12 hours before it came out, she had terrible itches. She thought she had to scratch herself open. It was it was very intense for both of us. But ever since we got that out of her, you know what, and out of my throat, we feel even better. On the bottom right, this picture is not from me because again, this is from Facebook as an example. This was an ordinary worm. I also lost these, but again, in this case, I did not have a phone on me when it happened, so I cannot show you a picture of that. But yeah, it's very gross. And again, you will find many reports of this online. And again, I tried fenbendazole, which is also a dewormer. Fenbendazole did make me lose some worms, but what really helped and got rid of everything, I hope at least, was the pure gum spirits of turpentine, a very good brand to look out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now the crazy thing is, my wife smokes, and we compared her blood and my blood. Again, I cannot find these pictures. Before we did the turpentine cleanse, in my blood there were much more parasites than in hers. Nicotine is a natural anti-parasite agent, but of course, there's a lot of backdraws with, smoking cigarettes, and especially these days. But there may be a case to be made why native people in America would smoke tobacco. It seems, and I talked to a, unfortunately, very esoteric health practitioner. She showed me her database with 300 people. About 40% of those people were smokers, 60% were non-smokers. All non-smokers had a very high parasite load in their blood, in their microscopic images. The smokers had zero. However, that doesn't fully protect you. My wife had also to take turpentine, and yeah, then that thing happened, what I just described. So don't
Mm-hmm.
go smoking, okay? I just want to point a few things out. Yeah, before I go into six, any questions or any remarks from your side? Because I talked a lot.
No, that was a fascinating and fantastic presentation. Good job. But it's funny just because obviously the most recent we talked about is this turpentine. I have that exact same brand that you showed in that picture there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the exact same thing, and it arrived, and I didn't do it for a long time. Because it's just I don't know, something about it. It's like, is this real? You know, should I really be doing this? It's one of those feelings, isn't it? And I did it once. I did 3 sugar cubes, but filled 2 cubes with the liquid and ate them. And after that one test, I didn't die. My eyeballs didn't come out like bleed from my face or anything. You know, there wasn't anything adverse, crazy reactions. The flavor's odd. It lingers for a long time, especially if you burp. It's a very odd a sensation of flavor, I'll say that much. Very powerful. But I will say maybe a few days after that one time doing it, I didn't do it again. I did get sick. Like, I can't explain it. It was, I could tell it's because I took that. It was a reaction. So maybe it was, maybe it was because of the Herxheimer reactions. Exactly. It was something like that. I don't know. And I haven't done the protocol fully. I have not continued it for long enough for it to then just be a once every 6 months deal yet. So I'm still yet to do the full protocol. But I just thought it was interesting because I got the exact same bottle there that you showed. It's the same brand because it does have to be the pure gum turpentine. It's not paint thinner. You don't get the stuff you get from a hardware store. It's not the same thing. Not at all. I did even try the paint thinner. I tried
I tried it on myself. I'm this kind of scientist that says, you know what, whatever, just try it. I didn't
Hmm.
die, but it didn't
Yeah.
work. And very important, the clean eating and drinking is important. If you
Hmm.
eat processed food, it doesn't work. If you drink this water, it doesn't work. There's a doctor, she's called Dr. Daniels. I don't agree with her vegan approach at all, but she also tells her patients when they do the turpentine cleanse to never ever eat processed foods. There's something in there, again, if you think about my initial slides, that feeds these entities. You have to eat clean, you have to drink clean. And if you look at my procedure, that is what I did. I started to eat 2 weeks clean beforehand and then did it. And it took me a few weeks of doing it twice a week before these horrible abominations came out. And yeah, if you look at this in my throat, it had eyes and a mouth. And yeah, it's hard to take a picture inside of a mouth, but
Hmm.
the pain was. I was very sick. You could ask my wife. My wife thought I was dying. It was a flu-like symptom. It was horrible, but it was only one day, and it was gone.
Hmm.
So if you do this, again, I do not recommend it for legal reasons, but if you do this, maybe take a vacation, maybe do.
At the same time, or if it's hard to really say, but there's something there. So to have, obviously you begin doing this extremely powerful cleanse, which is going to basically, quote unquote nuke them out of your system. Like it's the kill switch, for parasites. Then the demon who's attached you probably would be pretty angry about that, and
Yeah.
maybe it would try to dissuade you or kill you or convince you or lash out in some way if there is that connection that we were talking about in that presentation. Obviously, a lot of speculation. We don't have proof of this, just anecdotal evidence, and again, these tangential comparisons, which are there. The evident, at least, if not evidence. That's the best way I can
Well,
really describe it.
I have one more testimony, and then I would like to go maybe into the Christian perspective of this because I watched
Sure.
the Parasite presentation twice. It went quite viral, I think, on your channel, right?
Oh yeah, it's up there right now, hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have maybe some insight to add on this, and maybe you can make a video out of it. Um, One thing that is very interesting, again, all of this happened during the last 3 months. When I was finalizing this cure and I had this nightmare, one more thing happened. I have a spot on my right leg, and I think it's called a freckle, like a dark spot, like people have, or
Mm-hmm.
birthmark. Birthmark is the right term. And when I was little, doctors looked at it and were like, "Oh, that's no skin cancer. That's harmful. No problem about this." When I was getting better and better with the clean food and everything and the turpentine cleanse, I started noticing a lump forming, a very hard lump forming below this birthmark, and it started to bleed profusely. And the suspicion that arose was that it's skin cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the guy that goes to the doctor, so I just observed it. It started to hurt. It started to bleed more and more. The lump grew through about twice the size of my thumb. So I started fasting and praying. 3 days of water fasting, praying, and one night I woke up, so I thought, and my leg was in immense pain. And in this dream, again, it felt more real than reality. I think you will understand what I mean.
Mm.
A dragon-like worm came out of my leg and told me, I will now kill you with skin cancer and I will make it hurt. And I immediately started praying. And in that dream, it took me hours. I battled with this thing and I just kept saying, Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, and I command you to go out of me. And eventually, it felt like an eternity. It left with a scream. And in the 2 weeks after that incident, the lump in my leg completely went away and it stopped bleeding. I found a doctor, and he's unfortunately very gnostic, but I told him that just out of interest. And he was originally Catholic and he's a gnostic guy. And he told me what I described to him, he had seen many times in patients, and he had even seen entities leave their bodies. And and I was like, okay, well, that's strange.
Mm.
Of course, I tried to share with him the gospel of Jesus Christ, but no chance. no chance. He knows better. But anyways, which is very sad. But yeah, if you do these turpentine cleanse, you must prepare yourself both physically and spiritually.
Mm. Well, yeah, like I said, just a small dose for me, just one
Yeah,
go, had effects
yeah,
days after the fact. It was like, it wasn't immediate. I noticed a few days later I was getting very run down, very
yeah.
run down. I was getting a horrible headache.
Oh yeah, that's
And
typical. Yeah,
yeah, and I realized that's the die-off symptoms. Like it did
yeah.
kill something in me. So I know I'm still probably heavily infected myself, and I dread to think what will come out of me eventually. I did do the walnut clove wormwood cleanse. Is that what it was? Is that what it is? What was it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Wormwood, yeah.
I've
I did
done that
that
one.
too. I did it for a longer time. It didn't work. I'm raising the question, maybe wormwood in the Bible is actually the tree they make turpentine from, because wormwood is a wood.
Hmm.
Wormwood
Maybe.
today is a leaf. It makes no sense. Like corn, like we can get into speculation of the Bible, but it always occurred strange to me. They call it wormwood, and the
Hmm.
plant they call wormwood today isn't a wood at all.
Interesting. Well, I did notice some things. There was definitely some reaction and cleansing going
Right.
on with that whole thing, but I don't feel like it was enough.
Mm.
I feel like I said I need to do the full blast, if you get what I'm saying. But I can tell already I will need time. Like that's not just something I can just do on a whim and hope for the best. It's going to be a horrible cleansing journey, shall we say, of pain and misery when I do start doing that. I need to allocate like a week or two to heal. I think I can
Well,
already
well,
tell.
not necessarily. If you start the food and water thing, you
Hmm.
will gently, they will lose grip on you because they don't have food. It appears to me they live off heavy metals and sugar
Hmm.
and whatever's in there. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Again, my life is so busy, and this is one of the reasons I watch you because, like, you're also self-employed. You have a business. You have emails. It's hard. They locked us in a cage, be it self-employed or 9 to 5. But the
Hmm.
last thing you want to think about is food, but it's the most important thing. And I think that, do you want to go into this before the break? Why it matters for Christians?
Absolutely, yeah. We can get into it now. Certainly.
All right, let's go. So don't be gaslit by what is to come on the following slides. There's some unnerving questions I think we have to ask, but Jesus Christ has all power. So no fear. Now, many people say, oh, there's no food laws in the New Testament, but in Acts 15, verses 28 to 29, we are explicitly called to abstain from blood. And Proverbs 3, 7 to 8 also says, depart from evil, so health shall be unto thy navel. Navel is where your belly, where your guts are, where your digestive organs are. So these two verses kept springing at me. And there is indeed a lot of blood-derived food additives. So these, for example, here, priatine, it's a spray-dried porcine whole blood. It's very disgusting. They spray it and dry it. And they use it in emulsifiers, in bread, in sausages, in dietary supplements. The link for this list is on the bottom. And processed foods may contain these or may not contain these. Especially emulsifiers are affected. And since their origin substance, I hinted to this earlier, does not need to be stated, they may contain dried blood. Again, don't be gaslit, but this is just something to consider. And of course, Corinthians 10:25 and 28 say, whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. Shambles is butcher's house. I like to use the Geneva and KJV Bible. And but if any man says to you, this is offered in sacrifice unto idols, eat not. And the questions I had is, what does actually constitute telling someone that something's offered unto idols? Could there be the
Mm.
horrible possibility that the devil tries to tell us this by printing the info on the back of food packaging, hiding it behind numbers? After all, he is the original gaslighter. And extra biblical writing of Peter suggests that eating meat sacrificed unto idols can open us up to demons. So now the question is, well, how can our food be sacrificed unto idols? Now we have to talk about something very, very dark, and this is HEK293. Have you heard of this?
And I have actually not. No, I've
Okay,
not.
so HEK293. is a line of human cells that was started using the cells of aborted human fetuses. You can see an actual picture of these on the top right corner. It's done. It was done in the 1970s, if I remember correctly. Based on this human that was aborted, they did research. They extracted cells from this dead baby and started breeding them. And this cell line is alive until today. You can actually buy them online, readily available. Sources below. It's pretty disgusting. And abortion, and I just blanked it out because of, I don't know what censorship does. Idol worship and abortion have two things in common. You trade a human life for a better future or material gain. And that's exactly what they did here. They used this cell line to create food additives, such as flavor enhancers. And the company that did it used to be called Xenomix. Now, very important, if you look this up, there comes a Snopes website that debunks this. And many people say that HEK293 cells are contained in food. This is not true. This is indeed not true. This is a false flag. You will not find these cells in food. And I think this false flag has been purposely placed to debunk us. They like to do that. So please don't fall for this. However, the company Xenomix used this cell stem to produce what they boast hacks the human taste. They create the most powerful, most effective flavor enhancer. And it is not disclosed fully where and to what extent these additives, by now it's many, are used, but the links at the bottom, I've numbered them from 1 to 4, tell you a lot. Xenomix now is part of the company originally Swiss, and this is one of the reasons I heard about it. It's called DSM Firmenich. And this company, it's a huge conglomerate. They still use this cell. They are kept alive. It's a horror beyond human comprehension. They are kept alive and can be bought in petri dishes. And based on how these cells react to certain chemicals they introduce to them, they modify the chemicals they put in our food. And if the cell reacts in a certain way they want, they are satisfied and they will push that. So, do we really want first to consume things that have been developed by this? This is a list, again, sources below, of companies that use this kind of food additive. Nestle, Kraft, Cadbury, Schweppes, Campbell's Soup Company, I think that's a big one in the UK, and the Coca-Cola Company. And of course, they deny using Xenomix, but like I said, Xenomix is now part of DSM Firmenich, and if you or Firmenich in German, and if you look the sources up, this is their own website. There's even a website called hek293.com. They boast about this. So my final word about this is my understanding, okay? But don't be gaslit. Remember, and that's the word of Lord Jesus Christ himself, we as humans won't be unclean anymore if we eat anything that comes into our body. Mark 7:18-19, whatsoever thing from without entered into man cannot defile him, because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly, goes out in the draught, purging our meats. These are the words of Jesus Christ. So don't let anyone gaslight you that you get unclean because of this. There's a lot of Judaizers going around, and you have talked about this. That being said, 1 Corinthians 10:23-29, is it expedient that we eat this? I've written before, no, there I said, would Jesus have eaten something like this? And we are called to walk like him. I think he would not. So my final thoughts is our Father in heaven has the best interest in mind for us. He loves us. So the question regarding food should not be whether it makes us unclean, because like I said, Jesus told us no, but rather we should ask, is it expedient for us to eat these things? There's a lot of unhealthy people. Obesity, especially in the church in the US, is widespread. And based on all the things I presented here, I really don't think it's expedient for believers to eat stuff that was derived from this. And again, these cells are not contained in food. Please don't go around tell this to people. They will say, oh, look at these stupid conspiracy theories. They think human cells, fetal cells are in food. But again, I don't think it's a good thing to eat foods that utilize chemicals that have been developed by using aborted human fetuses. It just doesn't feel good. So yeah, I don't think it's expedient. Eat simple, healthy food, fast frequently, and pray a lot. Jesus Christ is King, Lord of Lords, and has come in the flesh. And this is what I want to confess. So thanks for your attention. And if you have any questions, yeah, that was the presentation.
Fantastic. Well, with that, we'll take a quick commercial break. I'm just going to play one of my own adverts for the book, just to give us a quick 3.5 minute break there. And yeah, guys, get your questions in now in the live chat. Anything you want to ask Thomas, and then we'll go through this. That was wonderful. Thanks for sharing. And I've got a few things I want to discuss with you as well in regards to like sugar and we'll all have questions, and we'll get into it into the next half of the show, maybe for the next half an hour. But for now, I'm just going to play a quick commercial break. You stick around, and I'll be back in about 3.5 minutes, guys. Okay.
In a world where 54% of Americans read below a 6th grade level.
Could you read this?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
One man wrote a book about the hidden truth behind clowns.
I finally finished it. But everything's going to be okay now. Links down below to the Amazon.
But he was about to find out.
Your primary market is the USA, and it ranks 36th in global literacy rates, with over 43 million adults unable to read or write.
Getting the truth to people is no day at the circus.
You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm the real clown.
Nobody reads anymore.
Have you considered recording an audiobook?
You're going to get a sore throat.
You're serious about this, aren't you?
You don't understand. I have to do this. The people have to know.
That book will ruin everything.
I will not use AI to record this.
We can't let him reach them.
This is just something I need to do. I don't even like clowns. The end.
Now they can hide that they're completely illiterate. This is amazing.
This season, playing on rectangular devices with black screens near you. The Nephilim looked like clowns. The audiobook.
And we are back. Okay, guys, can you hear me, Thomas? Are we there? Lovely, lovely. Yeah, I'll just switch back to the webcam so they can just see me, but they can't hear you. And I quickly ran downstairs then, so sorry if you guys are waiting a bit too long after the advert ended. I don't know if you can see me too there, Thomas, but I've got the turpentine I bought here. It wasn't quite the same brand, but it is the pure 100% natural. Blah blah blah, and like I said, I barely touched the bottle. You can see just the top there; it's still going.
Yeah.
So I do have that. And another thing I got, I realized we had some ashwagandha in the. So I'm curious to know what it is I should be looking for or looking out for here on this.
Oh yeah, so ashwagandha is, they call it the dream plant in India, actually, and here's the thing. When I looked at reports from basically pagans and esoteric people, they swear by it. Okay. When people of Christian faith take it, it seems to have the opposite effect. And I've seen a video from you. I haven't watched it yet. If only Christians are demonized and attacked, I think we should not take these things. We should definitely not take these things. I have a past life, just like you, before I came to Jesus Christ. And the world of drugs and the world of, the other realm, I never took it for recreational use, but I had a lot of, hospital stays. And I was given some medication you usually don't get because I have or I used to have, and now I don't have it anymore because of my diet, health conditions, and nightmares, and a very strange state of being. And ashwagandha introduced that same state to me. Horrible dreams. Couldn't wake up.
Interesting.
Colors, stuff. I would stay clear of it. You don't know how it's made. I have even heard former witches say that they cast spells over this. Again, that this sounds probably stupid to someone that's not a Christian, but ignorance of these rules doesn't make you immune, right?
That's right. Well, I'd never taken this myself. My wife got it because I believe it's supposed to help with concentration or something.
Oh, don't do it.
Told. Is what they're told. And looking at it, the bottle is half. Maybe she's had a few, but not that many. And she hasn't touched it. I've seen she hasn't touched it in like a year or two. So it's just in the cupboard, you know. I don't think it did much for her personally. But yeah, I've never. The only supplements I've taken is I took some charcoal when I was doing the cleanse. Activate charcoal just to try and, you know, make sure everything was getting picked up and cleaned out of me as it was going along. And I took the odd probiotic every now and then, but I've never really been one for supplements. I did take a few things when I was going through phlebotomies or venisections to get my iron down, just to keep myself from collapsing, like B12 and things like this. But other than that, I've not really been a supplement taker so much, or I can never really stick to a regiment. I've taken diatomaceous earth. What do you think of that one as like a parasite cleanse?
It really depends where it comes from. Now, the only thing, again, this is my findings, the only thing that works is zeolite, or also called clinoptilolite, the natural one. There is artificial one, and the aluminum ion in the artificial one will become loose and accumulate in your body. The natural one won't. Of course, the natural one is a bit more expensive. I found that this is the only thing that works. And I detail it in this slide here. You should absolutely take zeolite or clinoptilolite together with your turpentine cleanse. Ideally, you start taking it before. I lay it out on this slide. Massively reduces the headache. Also, by the way, since I have done my parasite cleanse, I used to have terrible migraines. And I don't think anyone who does not have migraines can understand how bad this is. Like,
No, I know.
Oh, you have? Oh,
Oh,
wow.
my entire life. Yeah,
I don't have it anymore. I had flashing lights. I was not able to work, and being self-employed, a day not working is a day spent lost money. I had flashing lights. I had to get basically a cover over my eyes, get to bed, you know, and it would get worse and worse. I don't have a migraine since 2 years now. That was actually one of the first things I noticed with clean eating and clean drinking. So if you have migraines, there's hope.
I agree. Well, my migraine story is something similar. I don't get them as often. I still get them, but I went through a period of life, maybe from being 8 years old to like 18 to 24 years old, really, you know, having horrible, crippling migraines regularly. And like I said, the only cure for a migraine is ibuprofen helps, but really nothing's going to get rid of it until you sleep. No. You have to go in a dark room, no light whatsoever, stay perfectly still, and let the room spin yourself to sleep until you pass out. And then hopefully once you wake up, it kind of resets your brain and you're back to normal and everything's kind of all right again. But it's like, it's not a headache. That's just, it's a full body nervous system breakdown. And it's like being extremely seasick or travel sick is the only way to explain it, but you've done nothing to be that way. And then it comes with firing nerve pain down your face and the temples, or down the side of your head or your neck. It can go down your chest and go everywhere, you know. But for me, it was
the worst.
Yeah, for me specifically, it starts here on this side of my head, and then it comes down here through the eyes. And then it comes down the neck all the way down here, and it can go straight down the arm as well. And it's you're just out. There's nothing you can do. Like once it triggers, there's no going back. You're going down to the worst possible pits of pain. And again, you get signs it's about to happen, like aura things happen. Auras, things start to glow. Like light hurts. Like you just can't look at anything that emits any kind of light whatsoever. It's screens, especially, you know, you look at them and you just want to vomit. It's that type of feeling, but the vomit never always comes either. Sometimes it's like you're always on the edge of it all the time. It's a really horrible demonic feeling. And I suffered greatly with those. And I realized I made a connection. It was Diet Coke. That was my trigger.
Oh, that makes sense. Citric acid.
Citric acid
aspartame.
And aspartame. specifically.
Yeah,
and I drank a lot of Diet Coke. At its peak in my early teens gaming years, where I sat inside for hours on end just playing Halo, you know, I would basically just be chugging like 2 liters of this stuff a night, you know, and it was addictive, very addictive, and I completely cut it out when I was. I think I must have been 17 or 16 or something like this. I finally made the connection that was the thing triggering it. Like I made a food journal and all sorts of things, you know, to get to the bottom of this because I couldn't figure it out. And I stopped that completely, and the migraines stopped too. And now the only thing that triggers migraines is light, too much light. That can be a major trigger for me. If I've just been around screens too long all day, and it's a particularly bright day, and I'm not saying that sometimes it can just knock me off a little bit, but it's rare. It's like maybe twice a year, 3 times a year or something now. But it was literally every couple of weeks originally, and I realized it's that chemical aspartame. So after detoxing from aspartame, I could smell it in things now. Like I know when it's being used. Like it's disgusting. It tastes foul. I cannot stand the stuff. The smell makes me sick and makes me feel like I'm going to have a migraine now. So I've avoided it like the plague, and I've actually switched to full sugar drinks instead as an alternative if I'm going to have anything fizzy, because it doesn't give me a migraine. So ironically enough, for me in that sense, like sugar is the better option. But it's not for the parasite side of things either. So it's not I'm saying sugar's good, but I'm just saying, you know, in terms of migraines, avoid aspartame if you're going to have drinks, fizzy drinks. And then what they did in the UK, real evil stuff. This is like underhanded evil. To help combat obesity in children and improve the health of our citizens, you know, we're putting a sugar tax on the UK, and any products containing sugar will cost more, basically. And slowly but surely, all places now that have like drinks on tap, you know, like those machines with the syrup and everything, and you can choose what flavor you want and everything, it's all diet products. It's Pepsi Max or Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, or it's light versions of everything. There's no sugar option anymore. Gone. Doesn't exist anywhere in any like pub or restaurants or all these type of things, because it costs too much for the businesses to do, basically. So they naturally just cut it out completely. But the thing is, the public think it's good. It's healthier.
Of course.
There's no sugar. It's sugar free. It's diet, you know. But the irony is, aspartame actually makes you gain weight, along with cancer, basically. It just kills you. It just kills you. It's just poison. There's nothing good about it whatsoever. There's no benefits. It's not even a good sweetener. Like, it barely makes it taste good at all when you actually get down to it. It's the addictive properties that make you think it tastes good, but it doesn't. Yeah. It's tricking your brain, and it messes with your insulin levels, and it just completely short circuits your body into thinking that you've got sugar when you don't, and then you end up getting fatter as a result, because it's a horrible, horrible cycle while killing yourself. So they, under this guise of to make people healthy and for the kids, they poison the whole of the UK basically on a daily basis with this horrible poison. And my wife uses this app. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Yucca app. It's getting quite popular now.
No.
And you can scan every product.
I know.
And it'll tell you exactly what's in it. It'll give you a score out of 100, whether it's good or not. And it tells you exactly where the problems are, and it tells you exactly what chemicals they put in them that are going to kill you, basically, and what the side effects of each one is. And citric acid comes up, everything comes up, you know what I mean, as a red dot. And we use it for everything now, on everything. Nice. And I've discovered everything's poison. On the topic of this video, every single thing is poison, like pure. Bread is killing you. Why does all bread have so many preservatives in it? Why does bread have so much crap in it? We have no idea. And we found one loaf of bread that is kind of okay, maybe. Like barely, you know what I mean? Like it's terrible. I was so heartbroken to learn that crumpets are extremely lethal. I had no idea they were so bad until you look at what's actually in a crumpet, a British staple. You know what I mean? And it's actually it's pure poison. Like, you're dying every time you eat one of those. You are killing yourself directly. And yeah, our life is getting healthier because of it, because we're avoiding everything we possibly can now, thanks to that app. This isn't an advertisement, by the way. It's not paid me to say this. I'm just saying it actually works, and we're using it. But it's scary. It's really scary when you start scanning things you've been eating for years that you thought were healthy, or in some way good for you, and you realize no, none of it was, never hasn't been, and the damage has probably been done. That's the scarier thought. I'll give the ball back to you. Sorry, I went on for a bit.
No problem. May I ask what you drink on a daily basis?
Water, primarily.
And where does it come from?
And coffee. We do use a water filter jug. But that's obviously it's not one of these osmosis ones you're talking about. So there's still fluoride getting in. I don't really drink. We used to drink bottled water, but we stopped doing that.
Good on you.
And we've switched to this filter jug instead from tap water, which is the best we can kind of really get. Because like I was saying, the bottled water is not any good either. But I'm going to start definitely looking into getting a machine that can prepare my water for me for the next day. I'll get the
maybe you can
one. I'll get the most expensive one. I'll just put it on the side and in the office or something, and every night I'll fill it up. I don't know, but I am looking for solutions here.
Yeah, and my wife just was in the room telling me something. Maybe you can switch back to the presentation quickly about the water filters, because this is something very important to me. If you only take one thing from this presentation, it's the water. Like as you just told me, you are looking out for proper food, and that's great. But like I said, what made my wife and me finally not getting sick anymore is getting an osmosis filter. And can you see the presentation now?
Yeah, it's up on the screen. Yeah.
So again, I know. I switch to this one. I know it's expensive. Okay, people will maybe think, "Oh, he's in Switzerland. He's rich." No, Switzerland is the second most expensive country in the world. I am not rich at all, but the osmosis filter thing, do it. I would say, at least that's my experience from what I've observed, is 70% of the problems are caused by the water, because we drink 2 to 3 liters a day, every day. Even if you fast, and thank God, thank the Lord for this. More and more Christians, including myself, realize that fasting is so important. But most people, including myself, will still drink water during fasting. And any liquid, be it a fizzy drink, being water, Coke, diet, with sugar, everything, according to the pictures I have taken in my lab, is tainted. And I've talked even to a guy in the US. I'm not sure if he's, a gatekeeper, but I don't think so. I forgot his name. He was very prominent when the, what came out in 2021. He also did pictures of the, what. And he agreed with me that everything's all liquids. That's how they get us. So reverse osmosis is the only thing. And again, I've listed the price ranges here, and I don't sell these filters. Honestly, I initially had a fish tank osmosis filter, and these are very effective, but you need to, connect them, and you have to buy special adapters for your water hose. They need to be flushed like 2 hours when you use them the first time, and you have to use them daily, or they can clog. If you can get a desktop reverse osmosis, like it's shown on the right, they're very reliable. And this was the game changer again. If I go to this, no sickness, no more acne. Yeah. But maybe the people have questions. I've seen in the chat some people were a little bit anxious about all of this, what I just shared, and I don't want people to be anxious, because there's solutions, and there's Jesus Christ. Again, praying over your food is important, but then again, I was asking specifically, Lord, can I do more? And that's how I found out all this information. And like I said, within a half an hour of me praying, if I can get the water fill, that would be awesome. I got a sale, and $800 or $600, depending what you buy, is a lot for me. And I think it's for most people these days. I think that's a lot, but it is a game changer. And that's basically the only expensive thing about all of this. And if you break it down, the amount of money you spend if you buy bottled water only, within itself is poison. It's cheap. And you cannot replace health. You cannot, again, if you go back to, where do we have it? The stuff here, especially on the left. I mean, what the heck is that?
It's like a lattice of some kind, isn't it?
Sorry, what?
It's like some kind of lattice, like a structure that's been created
Yeah.
with it. It's got form to
Interesting.
it, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be magnetic too, by the way. It seems to array itself to if you apply magnetic fields to it, which again is quite telling. Oh, by the way, there's another esoteric trap, at least I think it is one. If you buy this water filter, they will sell you stuff like gold faucets and Ormus and whatnot. I know there are people who swear by it, but I'm not spending $1,000 to put a gold faucet into my water filter.
No.
There's a lot of money to be made with gullible people,
Yeah.
with fear.
Yeah.
Don't go down that rabbit hole, really. That's
Yeah,
my
the simplest solution is probably all you need, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this sounds like a very simple solution. In terms, did see some questions about remineralization. People asking about kosher salt. Would you say, was it Celtic salt you were using?
Celtic salt, yeah.
And how would you exactly remineralize? What's the exact process?
I will
down
tell
to
you.
a T?
So, down to a T. So you take your bottle of water or your gallon jug. For every liter you filter, you add 1 to 2 grains of Celtic sea salt. So if you have a 1 liter bottle, 1 to 2 grains. I say 1 to 2 grains because some people are very sensitive to salt. You may use only 1 grain. If you are not, use 2 grains. These grains are usually rather large when it comes to Celtic sea salt.
Okay.
Put this in, you stir it, and that's it.
Okay. Easy. Simple.
It's easy. It's easy. Again, there's products they sell to you, expensive ones. No, just use Celtic sea salt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that's good to know. Another one someone brought up, I don't know if you thought about this concept, but what are you supposed to do if you are showering?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a big one. So this is especially important if you have some sort of skin disease. There's a lot of people with, allegedly non-curable skin disease. If you have that, or if you want to go full filter mode, wash yourself like they did in ancient times. Prepare a bowl, like a gallon of water for the American audience. Use this, I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like the basic soap, the soap your grandmother used, no additions, or Aleppo soap made from real olive oil, and basically scrub yourself with it, and then use a sponge, a non-synthetic sponge, and remove all the soap from your body. And that's how everyone cleaned themselves and didn't stink, was, healthy. And that helps. Also, if you have a bathtub, sodium bicarbonate is a very, 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 very potent toxin remover. I bathe in this stuff about once a week. And every time I do this, initially you may even get a Herxheimer from doing that. The symptoms of a slight headache, a slight pain in the back. Initially, you maybe just immerse yourself for 5 minutes. If you don't have a bathtub, you can use this sodium bicarbonate. I need to look up what it's called in English. I think it's called. What the English term is. Yeah, baking soda, but be aware some baking soda has additives in it, and you can scrub yourself with baking soda. That will neutralize a lot of stuff in your water because, based on what I found, lots of these toxins are acidic. Baking soda is a base. It neutralizes a lot, but ideally scrub yourself with the water. Yeah.
Because people were saying in the chat, well, you can change the water you drink, but the skin is the largest organ. If you're having a shower using the water from the tap, then you're not just taking all the toxins in anyway. So you would say baking soda would be a good way to kind of counter that as long as you scrub your skin with that.
That is true. But again, I wanted to talk about that. Thanks for reminding me. Especially if you start, your body will, and that's what I found, will tolerate more and more of these toxins. Initially, you will get hypersensitive. That's a reason many people stop doing this kind of diet and water filtering, because just like you said, you smell the aspartame. You are so sensitive. Whenever you encounter this stuff, you're like, ugh. But that will go away. Your body has the ability to withstand a tremendous amount of poison. God designed us that way. Especially as believers. If you drink something poisonous, it shall not harm them. I think this is also a reason why it's microbes and all these life forms the devil uses, because if you think about it, the amount of poison in our food, some researchers suggest it should kill us, but it doesn't. Maybe there's some truth to it. Anyways, yeah, you can, if you want to go full on water filter mode, stop showering and wash yourself like they did in the old times. It will actually be good for your water bill too. It's getting more expensive. The EU
That's
wants
true.
to
That's
introduce a
true.
water tax. Yeah, I mean, it's insanity. But it needs discipline. And I think that's the biggest problem with this diet, with this water preparing. We as a society are not used anymore to procure our food. 100 years ago, we would spend 50% of our income on food. Now it's about 4%. However, we spend 30% of our income in many cases on pharmaceuticals. That is medical bills, that is medical health insurance. They switched it. If you think about it, I don't know how healthcare works in the UK, but here you have to pay a significant amount each month. That amount, interestingly enough, is about the same amount you would use like 100 years ago to buy groceries. And yeah, it's a bad system, but you can, if you, again, I go back to the water filter. If you do one thing, do the water. It's just like breaking out of the matrix. Also, the fluoride thing, if you can use baking soda, what it's called, hydrogen peroxide, and a little bit of table salt, for example, Celtic salt, as a replacement for toothpaste. This is also something that made I had some plaque problems all my life. I started using that, no more plaque. I don't go to the dentist anymore. I just went recently once just to show my dentist, just to see what he said. And he said, well, you haven't been here for 2 years and you have perfect teeth. Perfect teeth. And what did you do? And I told him, yeah, well, I stopped eating sugar, and I knew he wouldn't understand. But yeah, it really works. And again, the most expensive thing for this lifestyle is the filter. And you have to thank the people, well, certain people for that did all this. We all know who they are, I think, or some of them. I mean, Albert Pike. I think Pike was definitely the pioneer, but especially the Morgellon thing, that already pops up in the 1700s. That's very interesting. And there's a reason we had the food law in ancient times before Jesus Christ brought the sacrifice for us and freed us from a lot of this. So yeah, Alpha Talks, Vitally talks about a lot of this.
Yeah, he talks a lot about gluttony as well, the sin of gluttony, and obviously the soul being in the belly. And how it's kind of the gut mind idea, or the concept of the soul being connected to the gut, and gut health being indicative of spiritual health as well. It's really fascinating, and I think there's so much there. It's so much to go into, and it's completely biblically grounded as well. And it's why you should always follow your gut feeling on things as well. Perhaps that's where the true Holy Spirit resides, in a sense. Not the heart; it's in the gut. That's how you know when something's right or not. And I did appreciate you mentioning the idea of prayer and fasting, how important that is, and how popular it is today as well. And I think we do have a much more alternatively health conscious peoples today, because like I said, that video about demonic parasites went viral in a way I did not anticipate, not even a little bit. And it just blew up. And next thing you know, there's like 50,000 podcasts talking about it and doing their own take on it because it was trending. That's just what they tend to do. They should jump on bandwagons. But I think there's a reason why it struck a nerve with so many people, because we know this. We know there's something wrong with our food. We know there's something wrong with our bodies. We know there's something in there that shouldn't be there. And like I said, there's many new age types who want to hijack the concept and spin it one way or the other. But I think the Bible made it clear. And like I said, they gave us these food laws for a reason originally. Because gut health is extremely important to have a connection with God in many ways. And obviously, thanks to Christ, we can be free from this in many ways. And obviously, prayer over food is a great thing as well. And it's possible, like I said, no weapon formed against us will prosper, will work. And like I said, I liked what you said as well. Why aren't we dead?
Yeah. Why aren't we dead?
It's a miracle that we're not dead at all, considering what we're up against. And maybe God is in many ways. He made us in a way that, no, it's going to take a lot more than that. And you can heal you can definitely heal. There's things we can do, as you said. You know, there's options. So I appreciate the optimism you have at the end of this presentation. I guess is what I'm saying there in a long roundabout way.
Yeah, you have to be optimistic, and I think, I mean, especially if we consider that the millennial reign has already happened, the gifts of the gospel are bestowed on us, and this is just me speculating, but it's explicitly written: if they drink anything poisonous, it shall not kill them. There's always They always tell us how sick people are in the third world, and I mean that a lot of that isn't true, but if we look at how much we are attacked, if we look how much Christendom is attacked with food, with poisons, with everything, we are still up and kicking. I think that's a testimony on itself. And that's just, God has our best interest in mind. He wants us to follow Jesus. And I think if we look at how much he's doing, even for people that don't have accepted him, I have seen this many times. There's a saying, in war, in the trenches, there are no atheists. And I see more and more people under this extreme pressure that is coming over the world, especially this year, turning to Jesus Christ, recognizing that they have been, saved from danger. And that was the case for me years ago. And I think it's for more and more, like you said, more and more people try to jump and hijack this bandwagon, like the esoteric crowd. But I just recently saw, I mean, it was Fox News. I don't watch Fox News, but it popped up. Allegedly, the download rate of Christian apps has increased like 80% this year all over the US. And especially the use of Bible apps. And I mean, that's nice. Just don't get all negative, That's what I learned. And especially if you eat clean, I go back to the water thing. Really, guys, do it. The water is so important, and it's just like breaking out of the matrix. I used to ridicule these people before I was saved. Like in 2006 and 2010, people who did this kind of stuff, to me, they were like left. I'm not falling for the left-right paradigm, but back then those are these leftist, kumbaya type of people who always, think everything is poison. Well, it turns out they were right. They were right about this. And they hijacked this idea.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think I'm going to be. Maybe I can. I'm going to announce it now. If anyone who creates reverse osmosis filters wants to sponsor this channel and give me a free one, I'll do it for a week. I'll help you out for a month. Just send me a free one of these, and I'll start using it. Other than that, I'm going to have to just start saving up, and we'll get one of these in the house. Because I already have a coffee machine that filters our water. Because I like drink my coffee, I grind the beans and everything myself, you know what I mean? And
yeah, me too.
I've got the machine that does it, and there is a filter built into that. I think it's just a charcoal filter or a basic charcoal one, I'm not sure, but it would be nice just to have one of these next to it. I can only imagine it,
Yeah, it doesn't work. That's the bad thing now. I used to be heavily into prepping before I found Jesus Christ. The conspiracy game for me started in 2014, and I thought I need to get all the gear and be prepared and everything. And that's how I learned a lot about filtering water. And I even used to sell stuff. And charcoal is nice, but like I demonstrate here on this slide, a nanoparticle, and this is what we're dealing with, is 0.0001 millimeters maximum. Usually it's much smaller. The most advanced non-osmosis filters are 0.005, so that's factor 10. That's like a tennis or that's like a golf ball getting dropped into a barrel. That's how much, there's no chance. So yeah, that's reverse osmosis. And our cell, by the way, the human cell is built exactly the same. Cell osmosis. Some stuff can get in, some stuff can get out. And again, this is where the chemicals come into play. Our cells are starting to take in substances that they are not supposed to take in. These people always talk about, it's nanotech, it's dangerous. Yes, it is, but they don't really understand why. Because God has designed our cells that it cannot, like naturally occurring poisons and harmful things will not enter us unless our immune system is significantly weak. There's a reason the Bible says that we can easily live up to 120 years. That's a lie that, 300 years ago, people would live for a short time, especially if we think about the millennial reign, which I'm sure that happened. But the human cell is amazing. But these things, I like to say, whoever came up with this, that's not human intelligence. Like the things I've seen under the microscope, especially under scanning electron microscope. Again, these pictures are not here. You can find some of it on BitChute. That's not human intelligence. No way. That's something ancient. And when I looked at this stuff, if you see it live under the microscope, if you see it moving, I go back to this slide, especially this worm. This is an ancient evil. I don't care if somebody ridicules this idea, and especially secular scientists, they see this too. I've seen, I'm not the only one who's seeing this, but they're so brainwashed. They look at this, I've seen it in person, and their face, it's just like in the Matrix. It goes like emotionless. Oh yeah, whatever. We need to clean the slide better. I'm gonna get a coffee. It's interesting.
I mean, look at that thing. I mean, it looks like an alien. It looks like something straight out of Alien itself. You know what I mean? Like this is a. It reminds me of the joint on a daddy long leg spider.
Oh yeah,
or something like this. You know what I mean? It's got animalistic. I don't know. I can't explain it. It freaks me out. Like, I don't like long-limbed things, and its stick-like nature freaks me out even more. That fang sticking out at the end there, this hook, this barb. And to think that these are in the masks that people were wearing, which when they get wet, after you wear a mask for a long time, breathing into it, these things come alive, basically, and make their way into you. And it's kind of... It makes you wonder what that whole event was really for. Was it all just a means to get people to put on those masks?
Honestly, that's what I thought. Yeah. What if the end goal wasn't all that? What if the end goal was to prepare us as hosts for something else? Maybe something that is still to come. The amount of silicon and selenium that has been found in the veins of people is so high, you should not be able to live. Again, go to BitChute. Look up if I know you know this, but anyone watching, if you want to know what I'm talking about and are like, what the heck is this guy talking about? On BitChute, just Google or on BitChute or enter in the search bar embalmers, findings, stuff, keywords like that. The things they find in people and the size of them, it is scientifically impossible to live like this, yet people are still working, it makes no sense. It freaks me out.
Yeah, it's definitely some kind of the integrating us with something. Right? And it's symbiotically melding with us, and it's kind of like they're creating transhumans, basically.
Yeah,
is the way to describe it through nanotech and nanobiology in some way. Because Morgellons is an old one. I was hearing about that over a decade ago.
Yeah, I remember the first.
The stories were horrible and the videos were horrible. Like literally, like fibers are bursting out of people's skin because their body's rejecting this thing that's inside them that shouldn't be there, But not everybody is rejecting it. Most people have integrated it into the system, and these things are like self-replicating, magnetic transforming fibers that find each other and connect to each other and then grow. Like it's alive, but it's also technology at the same time. And it's kind of what on earth is this, and how did that get there? And like you said, what my wife said, it's kind of like this chemtrail thing, It sounds like it's just stupid. Like it sounds like a man came up with this. If you wanted to get everybody, you'd put it in the water. It's too obvious.
Well, they do.
But technically, they are, but through the things instead. And who really knows? But who knows? But the question is, and you have to wonder why this cannot be human. Because what human would do this to us? Because it affects them too. Right. You know what I mean? They can't escape this, just like we can't in many ways. What are they doing to avoid the air we all have to breathe? To keep themselves safe from this thing here as we're looking on the screen or whatever is going on with these fibers. And in a way, like, are these people even human to think and behave this way on such a and do this to us on such a mass scale? Or are they fully on board with letting these things in?
I mean, if you read the book of Jasher, which is explicitly referenced in the Bible, and this is a side topic I want to branch out. If you ask an Ethiopian what he considers the Bible, the Ethiopians have, I think, 88 books in the Bible. And the book of Jasher is explicitly mentioned in the Bible. It talks about the mixing of kinds. People voluntarily did that in the past. There seems, from their perspective, to be a benefit, of course, not for us. So it was before, I mean, you talk about this a lot. It was before the flood, it's after the flood. And if it's really true that they want to gather an army, oh no, you are gone. Are you still there?
Oh, no, I'm just resetting my webcam, but you can hear me.
Oh,
Vocals are all there. Don't worry about it. Yep.
Yeah, if they want to collect an army that literally is going to fight Jesus, there's the book of this just me, riffing a little bit. I think that's the proper word or spitballing or whatever it's called in English. So just an idea. But the second book of Esdras, which is an apocryphal text, it's in the KJV, it's printed in there. If you read it, it gives a pretty interesting timeline that clearly seems to not have happened yet. And a multitude gathered against a mountain where Jesus flies on, and they are afraid, yet durst fight. I mean, the Lord is both amazing but also terrifying. So who would still fight? Well, maybe someone would fight who is not fully human anymore. Maybe someone who is not fully conscious of their actions anymore. And they tease us with all these zombie movies, or with, I think there was this movie called Cell.
Okay, stop.
Oh,
stop.
yeah,
Stop.
right.
Stop. Last time I mentioned this, I got a strike.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what I will say is, on my Patreon, the video is available there that I got struck for. Now, if I could just summarize what you're about to say here in a way that might get past the censors, is it was hinting and alluding to the idea that people who have stuff in their bodies, thanks to certain things which were sold to us as the right thing to do not that long ago, will now interact with other things that have been erected all over the cities that once activated will in some way manipulate the thing that's now in people to turn them into mind-controlled zombies and or slaves, perhaps. Something like that, okay? But you can't say the words. You can't say the words together.
Right.
Or you're done for. And you'll have to do... I literally had to do a re-education seminar where it wasn't a seminar, but I had to read the official narrative and do a tick box, I agree with the official narrative questionnaire to say that I've gone through the correct training on what the correct opinion is. And then in 3 months, we might remove that strike from your channel. So I did that, and they did remove the strike. But it's just a load of nonsense. But yeah, you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. Not at least not on this platform. Let's put it that way. That's the limit. But yes, if anyone hasn't seen the movie CELL, predictive programming its finest, perhaps. Who knows? But that one is terrifying.
Oh, there's one thing I want to mention. Like, I always wondered, why do they show us these things? And don't worry, I won't say anything about Band-Aid anymore. But the idea of guilt, there's various passages in the Bible that suggest that if you know something and do it anyways, you get punished more. Jesus tells us, who didn't know to do good and did bad, he will get few stripes. But he who did know what was right, but chose to do it not, he will get many stripes. And I think that's the reason the devil tells us all these things through subliminal messages, because he hopes maybe that we get more punishment. That could be the reason. I think it's the only thing that makes sense. But at the same time, he doesn't want to be too open, because Jesus won. Maybe he can be more open. Just an idea, but it would make sense. He hopes, after all, his name is the accuser. And he could say, oh, well, I told them and they did it anyways. Like I said on one slide, he is the original gaslighter. So don't be gaslit, people. Whatever, all the things that are presented in this presentation, no fear. We have authority in Christ. Jesus Christ is King.
Amen. Amen. I think that's a perfect place to end this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Thomas, for doing this. You did a great job. Honestly, you should be proud of yourself. I'm sure everyone here really enjoyed the talk just as much as I did. There's probably so much more we could say. We could go on for another 2 hours, I am sure, but we have hit the 2 hour mark for the show, and we are going to have to wind this down. So if there's anything you want to say to the people before we leave?
Yeah, you're probably tired of hearing it, but let me switch to the slide. Do the water filter thing, really. It will set you on the journey.
Fantastic. There we go, guys. So thanks for listening. This has been a great show. Like I said, Thomas doesn't have a channel or anything. You don't do any. You're not a social media person, are you? I don't believe, but you are regular on this channel.
Yeah. Just a random guy.
Just a random guy in the chat who, has already been on before and shared many things. Clearly a man of a lot of knowledge and one of us. You're one of the community. You're one of us, aren't you? And it's great to have you on again to share. I really appreciate you doing this, and I appreciate everyone being here to listen as well. I haven't checked the stats yet, but I just quickly checked in, and there's 250 people here right now. So that's good. That's some pretty good numbers. And we'll probably clip the presentation, maybe not our after talk or anything like that, but just maybe the first hour, and just release that as a standalone video, maybe with a couple of extra images thrown in there just for emphasis. So that might be coming in the future. Maybe it's like a supplement to the Demons of Parasites video or something, but that probably will come down in the pipeline in the future at some point. But for now, I think this has been great. People in the chat have really enjoyed it. Sorry if we didn't get to your questions. Like I said, it's hard once the conversation's flowing. It's hard to do both at the same time. But yeah, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.
In a world where 54% of Americans read below a 6th grade level,
Could you read this?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
one man wrote a book about the hidden truth behind clowns.
I finally finished it. Everything's going to be okay now. Links down below to the Amazon.
But he was about to find out
Your primary market is the USA, and it ranks 36th in global literacy rates, with over 43 million adults unable to read or write.
getting the truth to people is no day at the circus.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm the real clown.
Nobody reads anymore.
Have you considered recording an audiobook?
You're going to get a sore throat.
You're serious about this, aren't you?
You don't understand. I have to do this. The people have to know.
That book will ruin everything.
I will not use AI to record this.
We can't let him reach them.
This is just something I need to do. I don't even like clowns. The end.
Now they can hide that they're completely illiterate. This is amazing.
This season, playing on rectangular devices with black screens near you. The Nephilim looked like clowns. The audiobook.